Get your ass up here.
Peace, family. Welcome to another episode of the Parry, where we don't pull the duck, no punches, and the parry is fundamental to boxing. I am your host, Bomani UFG,
I am the pragmatic Say Black.
and we got a special guest, former lightweight contender, legend, Mighty Ivan Robinson, joining us. Pardon me, I'm a little under the weather. Should have got me some tissue. Um, we'll be doing Regis Prograis versus Devin Haney for the super lightweight WBC belt fight preview. I'm very excited about this one. I think Matchroom and the Zone are doing a hell of a job promoting this one. Everything from
Absolutely. Hell of a job.
the face off to the press conferences to the my man with his fitness trainer getting involved at every press conference talking his smack. Got me real hyped for this one. As everybody know, I'm a big fan of Devin Haney. But how you feeling today, champ?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yeah, man. Thank you for joining us, brother. Definitely
Yeah,
appreciate your
no
wisdom,
problem.
especially
Anytime.
this is these are some fighters who pretty much fought into the same division you fought in the round divisions you fought in 135, 140.
Yes, sir.
Um question. Devin Haney, who's moving up from 135 to 140. You went through a similar process or through the same process of moving up in weight, 135 up to 140. Like what's the mindset that goes along with that? Like why is that something that do you just outgrow the weight, or like is it like what's the process of a and the mindset of a fighter that's moving up in weight, especially if you're gonna be contending for a title when you move up?
Well, the whole process is that you try to put yourself in a position where it's about money, but then again, somebody has something that you want, and in order to get what you want, you gotta go take it. So if somebody's holding something that you want and you feel as though that you're confident enough to take it, then you make it happen. You and your promoter or you and your manager, y'all, talk to the other party and see if y'all can make the fight happen, and it happened. In my time, that's what we did. But
Right.
nowadays, you got these guys talking about each other family, about what they can do, what they can do, and it just turned into a big brawl. And the promoters say, "Look, is this what y'all want?" And y'all say, "Yeah," and sign the contract and make it happen. But nowadays it's all about money. Who can make the most money? Who's the better fighter? Who feels though that they're the better champion or not champion? And you go out there and you put your skills to work and you do what you do. Sometimes you put your mouth in a position that you can't really be that person, but you go out there and you try to give it your best.
Hey, so is that 5 pounds, the 135 to 140, in regards to training and having to cut and make the weight? Is it that drastic of a difference? Do you feel stronger going in the ring at 140, or did you feel stronger going in the ring at 140 as opposed to 135?
Well, see, me, it was a different situation. I felt as though 140 was it was okay for me. The 5 pounds was good, but back then the fighters were a little better than what they are now. And when I moved up to 140, it was just I think it was a mindset that I wanted that title, and it wasn't about the weight because 5 pounds was nothing. I was walking around at like 140, fighting at 135, and it wasn't no problem making the 135 weight. But I thought moving up that 140, I could take that title that the person had at that time. So that's why I moved up and fought that weight. But you know, what I didn't know was that even though the fighter was at 140, a lot of times he walk around at 47.50. He's strong, and for him just coming down them 3, 5 pounds, it didn't really hurt him. It hurted me
Got you.
because I was moving up to a stronger guy weight class.
Got you. Got you. So in you know what? Let me just play this real quick. I just want to real quick just look at the weigh-in between Regis Prograis and uh Devin Haney. And just from your train eye, man, just give me your opinion on each fighter. Like the weight they coming in at, does it really make a difference either way? The guy moving up, the guy that's already at his natural weight. I thought it was interesting though. Just I'll play it real quick.
Well, I think that with that,
140 bang on the super lightweight limit for Devin the Dream Haney, 140 pounds bang on. Let's go!
well, see, I think with that fight, with this fight right here,
The
I
defending
don't
world
think that
champion
it was too much
Regis
of Devin Haney making the
Prograis.
weight. I think he could have made. I think he made the weight probably easy. He just looked
Welcome to the defending WBC super lightweight champion of the world,
at
Regis
his opponent as
Prograis,
just somebody he could
139
beat. I think that
pounds.
actually Devin Haney got a chance of winning the fight. It's just that I don't know if his opponent is really strong. For one thing, he's a I ain't gonna say technician when it comes to 140, but he's a southpaw at that, and he fights pretty well. And I think he's strong. Devin Haney, I don't think he really at that weight just yet to be that strong. But as far as IQ, far as boxing, I think Devin Haney is basically the best at that weight, far as boxing. Um,
Yeah,
Regis. He's just a straight guy that likes to punch. He's a puncher and he's a southpaw. So he's gonna give Devin Haney a little trouble. I just don't know if he's strong, if he's really able to be that strong in this fight. But it's gonna be a great fight, man, and it's gonna show the mature of Devin Haney because he's moving up from 135 to 140. Honestly, I think he picked one of the toughest guys in that weight division to fight right now. So it's
as
gonna
do
be a
I.
great fight. It's gonna be a real great fight. I'm just
Yeah,
wondering if Devin Haney chin is really up to the test. I haven't seen he been hit, and when he did get hit, he got hurt. But fights, styles make fights. It's gonna be a technical fight. I think Devin Haney can get it as long as he don't get clipped.
right. The one thing that stood out to me, because I've seen pretty much every Devin Haney fight, and Devin Haney
Right.
typically making 135, he looked drawn.
Mm-hmm.
He looked dry a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times on the scale. He looked pretty full and pretty healthy at 140. Like he didn't have the same drawn look. His eyes didn't look sunk in. Like he
Right.
looked like he's pretty healthy and strong at 140. And
Yeah, he might be.
Regis, this is natural weight.
Right.
and
So
he
Devin
actually came
Haney,
in at 140 on the nose.
who?
Devin Haney, and as
Yeah,
opposed
that's
to
what I'm saying.
Regis waiting at 139.
Yeah, see, well, you figure Progress has been making this weight for how long? So it's not really probably too much of a get down for him to make that weight. Devin Haney, man, he probably walk around at 40, 42. It probably was enough for him to make that weight.
Yeah, he definitely looks bigger. He looks healthier. He looks a lot
Hmm.
more like on the scale, because I'm so used to
Right.
seeing him look drawn with his eyes all sunken in, like he about to, like he needs some Pedialyte or something. Like
Yeah.
he need to rehydrate, but he looked pretty healthy on the scale. So
Yeah,
I
it
thought
might
that
have
was
been getting
interesting.
hard for him to make that weight, man. Because that's how it was for me. Making 135 started killing me, man. I mean, I was making it, it was good, but once I started really like putting muscle mass on, walking around, putting on extra pounds, and then trying to get down to that 135 weight, trying to lose 7 and 8 pounds, man, that's a killer. You ain't trying to do that.
Yeah, yeah. Jay Black, you
Yes,
with us,
sir.
brother? What's going on? You good?
Yes, yes. Can you hear me? Do I sound all right?
Yeah, yeah, you sound good.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I had to fix that issue.
So what you think about this fight? Did you see the weigh-in that I just played? Did you see how they looked on the scale? What you think?
Well, I seen the way in. Haney looks. He looked bumped. He looked like he looked like he been eating his weed, so to speak. He been eating his oatmeal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And Regis up there looking cut up like a cheesesteak. You know, like he really looking like I said, I was a little bit confused about whether he was hyping himself up with his confidence or whether that's really how he felt. You know,
right.
but yeah, I seen the way in knowing they both look like they've been training. They both look ready.
They both look prime and in shape. I will say, surprisingly, Devin Haney looks bigger. Like coming up from 135, he looks like the bigger
And
man,
that's
not
what
just
I
a
meant.
taller man.
He looked bigger though. Yeah, he looked more
Yeah, he looks
swole.
like the big. He looks like the bigger man coming up in weight, facing a champion.
He
Um,
looked like he just came home. You know what I mean?
so how do you see like technically like how do you see this fight playing out, champ? Like well we both know that it seems that Devin Haney, we both have the opinion Devin Haney got the probably the higher ring IQ, maybe
That
the better technician in the
right.
ring. But what strengths do you see on Prograis' side? Like what do you think he
Well,
will
like I
give
said,
Devin a problem?
what Regis has in the fight that scares me is that he can punch. And that's about the only thing that I see that he has. Devin, man, I mean, he's a pure fighter, man. He has the skill. He boxes well, um, and he has the IQ to box. He knows what to do in that ring. But at the end of the day, all it takes is one shot. Um, I like y'all said, I didn't really actually see the weigh-in, but what you just showed me, a lot of times the weigh-ins can play a big part. Sometimes they can play a big part. But y'all
Right,
say that Devin looks good, looks like he's ready, and Regis has always been in that weight, so he ain't worrying about carrying around no weight. You said he came in at 139, so he's in
right,
great shape.
right,
Only thing about Devin, I'm wondering, will Devin Haney really actually be able to swim? Because you already know he gonna take him in deep water. That's his whole game plan. He ain't worried about the early rounds or nothing like that. Devin got to worry about them late rounds. Like after 6 rounds, 7 rounds, that's where the fight is gonna really. We really gonna know who's gonna be the standing man at the end of the fight.
right. So let
Right.
me ask you, champ, if you was fighting either one of these guys, if you was in the ring, if you was about to fight Devin Haney, what would be your approach to fight somebody like Devin Haney? What would be your game
Well,
plan?
me and Devin Haney is pretty much like the same fighter, except that I think that my hands were a lot quicker than Devin's. My IQ is just as great as his. What I don't, well, what I do take from Devin Haney is that my defense was better. I had better defense than Devin Haney. And that's what scares me in this fight with Devin Haney. Devin Haney doesn't have the best defense, and with Regis throwing punches from all different places, it ain't like uh, damn, I can't never remember the joker name. Progress throws shots straight at him. He throws shots from all different angles. And when you have a fighter throwing shots from different angles, it's a problem. It really is a
Right,
problem. And who I think don't is it Devin or is it Regis that has the longer reach?
Devin.
It's Regis. It's Devin. Devin
Devin got the
Logan.
longer reach. No, hold up,
No, I
hold up.
thought
Let me see if I can pull that up. Give me 1 second.
I know that
Y'all go
looping
ahead.
right hand, that overhand right that Regis has is dangerous, and
yeah,
he
that's
has
what
some
I'm
nice
saying.
body work.
And Devin doesn't have the type of defense like Winky right has, where Winky kept his hands up all the time
I
in
know.
court and counted off for shots. I don't see Devin Haney doing a lot of that, or I haven't seen him do it. But I'm not saying he's not going to do it because his pop seems to be an excellent trainer, although he talks a lot. But his dad really seems to know what he's doing in there. And like I said, as the fight go on, it's going to tell, man. I'm just wanting to see what's going to happen after the 6th round. If if Devin is still around in the 6th round, or if Regis is around in the 6th round.
Yeah, Devin got a 71-inch arm reach, and Prograis had a 67. So yeah, it's kind of a big difference there. Devin got the longer reach.
But I know
But
sometimes Devin likes to fight on the inside, and like I said, with Regis throwing shots from all different angles, man, that sometimes can be a mistake.
no doubt. So if you was getting in the ring and get somebody like Regis Prograis, what would be your game plan for him?
I would
Being that you're the
definitely
boxer.
I would definitely have to maul him. I would definitely have to stay on top of him. I would definitely give him a lot of pressure and work off my jab. And I was a guy that threw volumes of punches, so I'm figuring that would be the best suitable idea for me to do is to back him up. You gotta definitely back him up. And Devin Haney is strictly a boxer. So with that saying, he may be able to outbox him because you say he has a longer reach. Keep him on his jab, throw combinations, and he definitely got to give him angles. He can't sit in front of him like he did with Lomachenko and expect to trade shots with the bigger guy. He can't, because I guarantee you that uh, what is his name?
Regis
Regis Prograis.
Rogue,
Yeah,
huh?
Prograis.
Yeah,
Prograis.
Regis
uh,
Prograis.
he, he's definitely a come ahead. He's definitely a pressure fighter. So Devin Haney got to back him up. He get him on his hind legs in the back, and keep turning him, man. Give him angles, make him miss and counter. And if he can nail him, get him out of there, then he can do that. But I don't think that a lot of times when you're not a puncher and you move up in weight, it don't help you because it ain't like you taking that weight with you. Like when I fought Chavez, even though I fought Chavez at an older age, he was still a great puncher. So you can't follow a puncher because that's the worst thing in the world to try to follow a puncher. You gotta strictly make him back up. You gotta back him up, man. Gotta hit him with combinations. Gotta keep him guessing at all times. But I think Devin can do it because Devin is a great boxer.
So when you got the orthodox, go ahead, Shay. My fault. Go ahead.
I was gonna say with Haney, he does look like the bigger fighter, but
Right.
I don't know how that's gonna translate when he gets into the ring. Is he gonna wear it well? Is
Yeah, exactly.
what kind of weight is we looking at? So with that right there, I definitely think that might be a factor. Um, and like you said, he's looking at the long game in this one, uh, progress. So that's definitely going to be a factor. He's definitely looking at that long game, taking them into deep waters, getting them into the later
Yeah,
rounds and whatnot.
my man, exactly.
Now
But like
when
I
you
said,
have a
I think his dad is an excellent coach. Um, he studied the game well. He knows the game well. As long as you have a great trainer in your corner and you always have more than one game plan, you pretty good because your first game plan always get thrown out the window. You got to have a second game plan. You got to have a third game plan in this sport right here because if you don't, if you only consist of one game plan or you strictly sticking to one script, it's not gonna work. Never gonna
Does
work.
Han- does
so
Haney
as
seem
a
overconfident? Oh my bad.
Say it
no,
again.
no, go ahead, Shay. Go ahead, brother.
Does Haney seem overconfident? Overconfident that like it can't happen. Like this, like he's not respecting the fact that he has that Progress has the punch that he has.
Yeah, that could be a mistake too because if you go in there thinking something different, you can get caught with something. You can go in there thinking logical and thinking that you're gonna overpower him or you're gonna do this and do that, and uh, Regis may have a different game plan than what he had. But it's gonna come to I think it's gonna come to strategy and it's definitely gonna come to the later rounds.
So could Regis Prograis be underestimating the power of Devin Haney? Now he's not known as a puncher,
Yeah,
but
you did. That's what we was just talking about. You going there
yeah,
overconfident, man. Anything can happen in a boxing game. You know that. All it takes is
right.
one shot. That's all
I
it
mean, cause when
takes.
when I think about the fact that Prograis in his last fight against Zorrilla, he got dropped, and Zorrilla is not known as a puncher, and got probably just as much or even less knockouts as Devin Haney. So Devin
Right.
Haney moving up in weight can actually, he may surprise him and may pop him with something. But let me ask you, um, what tactically, when you as an orthodox fighter going in there and get somebody who's a southpaw, is it more, especially with somebody that's a puncher, um, like what's the game plan? Is it the footwork? Like what are you looking to do against a southpaw, especially one that's a puncher? Like what would you be looking to do in the ring against a southpaw as opposed to an orthodox fighter?
Well, southpaw definitely is always um you don't I don't want to say disrespect southpaws, but southpaws are like kryptonite to Superman. The
Mm,
southpaws are always the hardest guys to fight because they're opposite of you. They throwing a different hand than you throwing. You gotta watch out for the lead hand because sometimes the lead hand may be powerful. Like when my instance, when I fought Oscar De La Hoya, nobody ever knew that Oscar was a conventional southpaw. He was
right,
turned around. So Oscar lead hand was his jab. That was his most powerful jab. That was his most powerful punch. Oscar could knock you down with a jab, and he definitely hurt you with his hook. You know what I'm saying?
right,
So I had to reverse that and go the opposite way just as well as you have to do with the southpaw. So you have to keep your foot on the outside of the lead hand of the southpaw, and your left hook has to be great because that's something that you're gonna catch that guy with all night long. Because if you keep circling to your right, he gonna nail you all night with his left hand, especially if it's great. Like that's why Purnell was just so good because Purnell could box, and then Purnell had such a great slip game, man. I mean, like when you would throw shots, you be right in front of Purnell, and you could see Purnell. And I mean, you sit right in front of him, and you like, man, I can hit this guy with this right hand all night. No, you couldn't. You couldn't touch Purnell because Purnell was that good. He slipped so well, and then plus he boxed so well, so it was hard. Regis is different. He's a power puncher. He got a little bit of boxing skills in him, but he's a straight ahead fighter. You got to get this guy angles, man. You got to give him angles. And I don't really know too much about Devin Haney because I never really looked at too many of his fights. But if his right hand is not something that he is known for, he gonna have trouble all night because he gonna need that right hand all night long. He gonna need that. I don't care what you say. He's gonna need his right hand. Um, and how like I said, I never looked at Regis. I don't know. Has he had anybody that really went to his body?
right.
Because
Well,
he
I know
looks
him.
good,
He went
like
through a
my
war
man
with
said,
Josh
he looks
Taylor.
real fit. He looks real fit. And a lot of
Right,
times when guys are fit like that, they don't have body. So that means, like I said, Devin Haney gonna have to get inside. He gonna have to push this guy back, and he gonna have to go to the body, and he gonna have to give him angles. He can't sit in front of him.
right. I think now the one hole I see in Prograis game is that when he jabs, he jabs almost from like a mid range. He doesn't really step in with his jab. He kind of flicks his jab, and he got this thing he does, like he kind of shuffles his hands, and I feel like he could easily be timed. Like that's like a timing mechanism for your opponent when you constantly doing
Hmm.
this and before you jab. So I think somebody like Devin Haney can exploit that. Devin Haney does have a good right hand, but he's pretty much better known for his jab. Like he has a better jab probably than the right hand, and he's not really known to really knock guys out with that right. But he will stay in the pocket. Like when he fought Jorge Linares, like he stayed in the pocket with him, exchanging with him, and Linares, eventually caught him and kind of dinged him at the end of the round. But he survived that and ended up just pretty much washing him every round. But Linares is not a southpaw.
Well, it seems like that Devin. One thing that I love about boxing when it comes to when it comes to you turning professional from the amateurs because in the amateurs you got to have your hands got to move. It's basically about scoring. As far as with the professionals, you have time to sit back and pick your shots and look for shots, stuff like that. So if Devin Haney can do that, which you say he has a great jab and he can set up off his jab, he may have something there. But southpaws, man, are so awkward. They hard to fight, man. Man, they just that's why guys don't like fighting southpaws, man, because they so hard to fight.
Right. Who's the toughest southpaw you been in the ring with?
Purnell,
Right.
you ain't
Of
say
course.
you didn't say fight. You said
Fight in
who
the
was I in
ring,
the
right.
ring with the hardest guy, and the Purnell was. But the two guys that I fought with southpaws, I got rid of them. And like I said, I was just the type of fighter. I always do punches and combinations. And I just, my hands I felt they were pretty quick. So I just worked off a volume of punches.
Let me just remind the people that joining us to please jab that like button, uppercut that subscribe button, lead hook that share button, and go ahead and throw a combination at the notification bell. You can follow us on Instagram at the Parry 101, also on Twitter at the Parry 101, TikTok at the.parry.101. We got
Well, you
Iron
getting
Mighty
good at
Iron
that.
Robinson here with us. Yeah, listen, man.
You
I'm
getting
getting
good at
seasoned
this.
at this, brother. I'm getting seasoned at this, man. We got
No, man,
former
I
lightweight
think
contender Ivan Robinson with us. Thank you for joining us, brother. You know what I'm saying? The champ.
anytime.
You know what I mean? Okay, Shay Black, you got any questions
Nah, I
or
was just in the
insight?
conversation.
Yeah.
Insight.
Good.
No, I'm
Come
saying as
on, man.
far as
Y'all can't have me on here and not ask no questions.
oh yeah. Come on now, as far as the fight coming up. So you're looking at both fighters. Do you have a particular favorite? Because I heard you mention that he has to have the right hand for pro race and the angles that pro race is going to be coming from. But when you look at the fighters, do you have a favorite?
Um, no, not really. I wouldn't say that I'm not really interested in the fight because I'm interested in all fights because I'm a trainer myself, so I'm always watching fighters. I'm always trying to study fighters, add stuff with my fighters that I have, um, and just have them watch fight. So when we go in the gym the next day and we work, they tell me what they see and what they think because at the end of the day, they may be able to, or they may have to face a guy like Regis or a guy like Devin Haney, so they know what we have to do. But at the end of the day, um, I like Devin. I'm gonna go with Devin. I think Devin, like I said, is the superior boxer. And to me, and me growing up in the era of the 70s, 80s, and 90s, boxers always turned out to be the better fighters when it came to the punchers and the sluggers. But yeah, at the end of the day, all it takes is one shot to turn a fight around. So in my case, yeah, I'm going with Devin. I'm liking Devin to squeak the fight out, and I think this is a fight that he needs to show the world that maybe he need to be in there with a Tank Davis or Shakur Stevenson. Nowadays we need to have all these fighters contend with each other because in my era, with me, I'm talking about me. I ain't talking about everybody else, but me, it didn't matter who I fought. At the end of the day, you knew that Ike Robinson was coming to fight. Didn't matter who it was.
That's a fact. That
Absolutely.
is that is a
Absolutely.
fact. Now, what a win for because you mentioned Shakur, you mentioned Tank, and they're the three kings of that weight division, that little area right there. They pretty much run the division over there. Um, where does a win put have Haney, especially
Well,
in
when
regards to his peers?
well, a win would definitely open up doors for Devin. Um, Devin is what? How old is Devin? Like 22,
He's 24, I think.
Yeah, he just turned
24.
24. Just turned
Um,
Yeah, he's
24.
just 28. He's young guy.
he still has time to capture other fights. Um, but of course, his two biggest tests would be against Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson. Those are fights that I would like to see him. fight maybe another year or two. I still think that he's growing. I still think that he needs to develop more. Far as fan base, everybody want to throw him in with Tank Davis. I mean, Javante Davis want to throw him in with Shakur Stevenson. But at the end of the day, when I'm looking at it as myself as being a fighter and a trainer, you want to develop. You want to go into a fight with all your tools. Just like my dad used to tell me, you can't go to a job with a little bit of tools. You got to go to your job with all your tools. So there's still some things that Devin needs to still bring to his arsenal, and I still think there's room that his dad probably still see that he needs to develop. And maybe hopefully his promoter, whoever his promoter is, give him the chance and the opportunity to keep developing, not just throw him in a fight with whoever because the fans want to see it. I'm more of a strategic fighter and trainer where I like to have my fighter, my kid, or whoever that I'm training to be developed to have all the tools to do what he needs to do on that given night because I don't want my kid at the end of the night to say, "Oh, coach, I didn't have this," or "Coach, I didn't have that." No, I want you to go into the fight with all your tools. If you need a screwdriver, you got your screwdriver. If you need a hammer, take that hammer. Oh, don't forget, oh, coach, you didn't give me my hammer, so I couldn't use my hammer. No, I want you to have all your tools.
Right. Now, Devin Haney already being undisputed at 135. He fought at 135 pretty much his whole career up until this fight, and he's moving up to 140 to capture the WBC title from Regis. Um, Being a former undisputed champion and possibly becoming uh, a two division world champion at only 24 years old. Um, would Devin Haney already be on a fast track to maybe having a Hall of Fame career, or he still got more to prove? You think?
To me, you asking
Yeah.
me, or you asking me, I still think he has more to prove. I still
Mm-hmm.
think that is more that um he can add to his arsenal. I still think there are things he just need to work on. I mean, I know we think that he has all the tools already, but it's something in the fight game that he needs. There are certain things, like for instance, I would like to see Devin Haney defense much more better than what it is. I would like to see Devin Haney have more head movement than what he had because if we was to just say, for instance, he was to be put in a fight with Tank Davis, what I would see it happen with him and Tank Davis was that I would see that Devin Haney would be too macho and trying to slug with Javante Davis and get caught with a shot. Then the first thing everybody gonna say, "Oh, I told you he couldn't stay in there with Devin Haney because he's with Javante Davis because he's taking shots." That's where I think that he needs to go back to the drawing board before he even get there and practice more on his head movement, giving angles that he don't give. I know that for a fact. He don't give enough angles. If he gave more angles, I think he would be a lot more better than what he is. But that's in due time. He's still a kid. He's even though he's 24, 25, he still needs a little more developing. That's just my opinion. My
Right.
opinion don't mean nothing to nobody. But I'm only telling y'all guys what y'all asking. And that's how I
Right.
feel.
Now, in regards to Regis Prograis, who's 34, this is arguably probably his biggest fight of his career, fighting a former undisputed champion, moving up to fight him for his belt. A win for Regis Prograis. What does this do for him in his career? What do you think should be next for him after a fight against Devin Haney?
Well, he at 40, he beat Devin Haney. That's definitely gonna shoot him up like his blood pressure.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, really, the sky's the limit. Um, I really don't know who's all the top 140 pounders out there, but I mean, he win. Now you're looking at him making some big money, him fighting somebody with a real caliber name and something that's gonna, bring people to the stadiums to watch him fight and where he gonna be able to make some money.
Well, the other champions at 140 is Matthias, the Puerto Rican brother who just fought the Eastern European guy, knocked him out on the
That
last
that
card.
that
Then you got Teofimo Lopez, who's the unified champion after he done beat up on Josh Taylor. I think Josh, how you think Teofimo in the Regis Prograis fight will play out, man? I think that'll be an excellent action packed fight myself.
I think it would be an action packed fight too. It's just that it's just that what what Regis to show up. I mean, fights styles make fights. Sometimes fighters get up for fights and they're great, and then sometimes the the majority fighter comes along and just knock your head off, knock you off your throne. But right now, Tio Fimo, I think with Tio, he need to calm down a little bit. I think he got great boxing skills, but he gets crazy, he gets wild. Um, I think he actually can box pretty good too. I really
Yeah.
do.
Nah, Teofimo's a pretty good boxer. I like, and really in comparison to his peers in and around that division, the Shakors, the Tank Davises, even the Devin Haneys, his resume is probably one of the best out of all of them. Being that he beat Loma, he beat Richard
Yeah.
Comey, and
Right.
then he went on and beat Josh Taylor. So he's accomplished, but I agree with you in regards to his temperament at times to be a little bit reckless. But I definitely would love. I think a fight between him and Regis Prograis would be exciting. But Devin Haney also was mentioned after this fight, and now I'm gonna ask the question, but I got another question to follow that one. Devin Haney has been reported that after this fight, he may be looking to move up to 147 to fight a Keith Thurman or Mario Barrios. One, what do you think about that idea of him moving up to 147 to fight a former unified champion in Keith Thurman or even a tough Mario Barrios? And at the same time, do you think it's wise to right before you about to go into a championship fight, you're already looking past and above your
Right.
opponent about other fights?
Yeah, I think sometimes guys get beyond themselves, and in this day and era, uh, guys think about money. I don't think they actually sit down and think about a fight, or they study a fight, or think about themselves and being in that position on how the fight will play out. Like when I was fighting, I there were a bunch of champions that I wanted to fight, but at the same time, I was saying to myself like, do I need to fight this guy right now? Where would I be in a fight like that? I played out my fights before I even submitted to even ask my promoter to fight this guy, or even if they brought him to my knowledge that, yo, I want you to fight this guy. Like when they brought the Arturo Gatti fight to me, it was like I said to myself like, yo, y'all actually thinking about me fighting this guy? Do me and this guy even have any trademark to fight each other? And then I sat back and I thought about it. I was like, yeah, this would be a hell of a fight because Gaddy is a puncher. Gaddy is a crowd pleaser. But at the end of the day, I knew for myself because I had that much confidence and I knew what I could do. The only way Gaddy was gonna beat me was he was going to have to knock me out to win that fight. But I knew Arturo couldn't do it because of the simple fact I was a better boxer. The only way Gaddy was gonna beat me, and like I told everybody the whole 3 months we was prior getting ready for the fight, was he was gonna have to kill me in order to win that fight, and which he almost did, but he couldn't because I knew I was the better fighter. I knew I was the better a boxer. I had the better boxing skills, and I made sure that that night on that fight, at that fight, I was going to be at my top. It didn't matter what I had to do or how I had to do it. I had to make sure I was in shape and I was ready. And I went out there and I performed the way I performed, but I would have never known that the fight would have been that much of a magnitude and that it took to be where it was at that time. Until this day, I thank God for even Arturo Gotti being the guy that he was and asking me to fight him because till this day is a fight that everybody still talk about.
Right. Right. Both fights.
Both of them.
Yeah,
Both
both
fights,
fights. You're
both
right.
fights, both fights. Because that second fight was crazy. That
Yeah.
second fight was just as crazy. So yeah, both fights. And you mentioned him not being able to knock you out. You definitely threw caution to the wind in a lot of those rounds, though. Just going toe to toe, it was almost like just trying to out. It was like two fighters trying to outwill each other. Like you mentioned, being a better boxer, but there was definitely moments of that fight where it just seemed like two guys stepping on a dime, just saying, "Yo, let's go." You know.
Yeah, well honestly the first fight that's what it was. The second fight was better. See, that's what I'm saying. Fighters have to know their situations. They also have to know themselves. Like I said, I knew Arturo couldn't beat me. The only way he was going to be able to beat me was he was going to have to knock me out. We fighters sometimes get into a mode where we just don't care, and that's where I was in the first fight. The first fight was it was a respect fight because he disrespected me at the press conference. He disrespected me the whole time prior to the first fight. So that's why I made it as tough as I did, which I shouldn't have, because
He said you
everybody knew I
was
was a better
he,
boxer.
he
But
said you
I
was
did
bringing a
the
knife to
first
a
fight.
gunfight.
Yeah, exactly. So, that's why it was like that the first fight. But when the second fight came around, I already had said to myself, I didn't matter if I would have lost that fight, I was gonna do what I should have did the first fight, which was boxing, give him angles, make him miss, make him look sloppy, all that. And that's what I did in the second fight. And you know, it turned out that way. It turned out to be good, and I went and got the decision.
Now, in
You
the
I
know,
just
it,
wish
second
it,
I
it,
fight,
would
it's
have had
funny. I can see Regis fight, this Regis and Haney fight, kind of playing out how your second fight with Gaddy played out, because like the styles are kind of similar. Not that, I mean, I think Prograis is not, no disrespect to Gaddy, man, but he got hit a lot, but
yeah,
he was a
definitely.
warrior. He was willing to stand in there and trade, but he was also
Exactly.
a puncher.
Right.
Regis Prograis being a puncher of the two, and Haney being the boxer. If Haney kind of stick to your game plan, even though we know Gaddy wasn't a southpaw, but if he move, use his boxing skills, like you said, give him angles, I could kind of see that fight, playing out like that if
It
Regis
is.
really come to fight.
Yep. Right.
Yeah,
And that's what
yeah,
I see, and that's why you got to look at this fight on both angles because if Devin Haney can go in there with the mindset that I'm gonna get this kid angles, I'm gonna box him and make him disrupt or doing the things that he don't do, I can win this fight. But if he go in there with the mindset, look, I'm gonna bang this guy, this, that, and other, it may be a different fight.
yeah, absolutely. Jay
One
Black.
thing I think that fighters don't do nowadays, they don't use their head as much as they should. That's why it's called boxing, because you try to box a kid, you hit and not get hit. I don't mean make it boring. I mean, actually box and don't get hit. I don't mean running around the ring and all that, tie your guy up. No, I mean actually box your guy, man. I mean, show your skills out there. Do what you do best and try not to get hit and make the fight as easy as you can. Although I know it's harder than what we say it is at times. Because trust me, that Gaddy fight, he made that goddamn fight hard as hell. But I stuck to my game plan no matter what. And I know you guys see me get hit with shots. Y'all like, man, why is I even getting hit with these shots? But sometimes you have to take a shot to give a shot.
That's a
right,
that's a good
right.
point. I gotta go ahead, Jay. Go ahead.
I was gonna say you mentioned the styles and bringing the fight and not getting hit. The It's boxing. It's the art of
Right.
hitting and not getting hit. Recently, we just seen Shakur Stevenson in a fight that a lot of fans were disappointed in. They felt like he had that not get hit, that defensive first strategy, which and a lot of times doesn't make for great, very entertaining fights for the crowd, especially for the casual. I'll say for the casual because for someone who knows what they're watching, it's a little bit different. But even with the Shakur fight, a lot of a lot of people felt that Shakur fight was boring. Now, did you see the fight?
Yes.
Shakur.
Well, I've seen some of it. I actually fell asleep, but yeah, I seen some of it.
Okay. So with that said, do you feel like, because we have this debate back and forth with me and Bomani, do you feel like that was Shakur Stevenson, or that was like it was solely on Shakur Stevenson why that fight was so boring, or it was that Shakur Stevenson stayed away and De La Santos just couldn't do nothing?
I'm I I'm not biased to nothing. I love, first of all, any fighter. I don't care who it is. Any fighter step in that ring to duke it out with another fighter, you got to give him respect. You got to take the hat off to him. No way if or ands about it. Um, I just think that in that fight, Shakur Stevenson didn't want to take the initiative to get hit. Man, I mean, you have to get hit. There's some time or some way in the fight you have to commit yourself to getting hit. You have to commit yourself on stepping on the pedal. Uh, you gonna have to get hit. I mean, you have to take the initiative to fight sometimes. And I know that a lot of people don't want to do it. Some people may say I'm crazy, this, that, and other. But that's the name of the sport of boxing, man. You're gonna get hit. You can't be afraid to get hit. And I think in that fight, Shakur played it too safe. And sometimes when you play it too safe, things happen. But Shakur Stevenson, oh man, I think he just need to pick up his punch rate. I think he need to pick up his velocity of how he punch. He definitely has great skills as far as his slip game, his movement. He don't like to get hit. Ah shit, can anybody really lay a glove on him?
That's a
Question.
good question.
Question. You mentioned, just having to get into the ring and pretty much entertain, right? You don't want to just be the guy just moving around and making a fight boring. But when you training or when you actually in that ring,
Hmm.
how much is that in your mind? Like, I'm here to entertain the people watching, and how much is it like? Well, I'm
I'm
in
here
here
to
to
win.
win,
Yeah,
right?
however
Well,
it looks. However it looks.
ah, it's true. That's a great question because it's kind of hard to say because I knew going from the amateurs to the pros is definitely going to be different. Um, I'll definitely cut out for it. I think like after my seventh or eighth fight, people start telling me that I was a great fighter because I entertained. I was told that I didn't fight unless I got the crowd into it, and then I fought off the crowd. And sometimes I sat back and I watched my tapes, and I said to myself, I would hit a guy with a combination and nothing. But when a guy hit me and the crowd roared or whatever, then I just turned on the gas and we just started rumbling. So
Right.
sometimes the crowd can be um, motivation to the point where it's great. Then sometimes the crowd can be motivation where they can get you in trouble. So
Mm.
in that case, like with me, I felt as though when I got in the ring and whoever I fought, when a guy hit me and I felt though that was his best shot, there was nothing else he could do to me. So I had the option to either box him or even sit in there and slug and trade punches with him. And a lot of times I traded punches instead of boxing. But um, a lot of times it turned out to be great. Um, wasn't knocked out in my career where people talked about anything. When I got in the ring, I just performed the best that I knew how.
Absolutely.
That was the knock on Mayweather, as far as not really caring about pleasing the crowd. A lot of the fans felt with Mayweather that he went out there to win the fight and not so much entertain the crowd.
Well, Mayweather is crazy because Mayweather had two. How many? How can I say it? Mayweather had two. I'm gonna say Mayweather had two careers and two. different how can I say it? Two characters. Because when he fought at 130, 125, 130, between 125 and 135, he was what, pretty boy? I
Yeah.
mean, Floyd put them hands together. Floyd fought, even though Floyd didn't get hit a lot. Floyd fought when he was pretty boy. When he changed, when he became money Floyd, that's when he looked at it and he changed the game differently. It was about Floyd making money. It wasn't about Floyd being pretty boy no more. And I take nothing away from him. Floyd was a master at doing the things he done. That's why he's as great as he is, and he's able to command the things that he commanded. But if Floyd was the fighter that he was when he was pretty boy, he'd probably be a whole lot different than what he is now.
It sounds like it seems like when he was pretty boy, there was risks that he was willing to take, and as he
Yeah.
became money, pride, and because those risks came with it came with financial punishment, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Well,
Whereas
yeah,
staying undefeated, was
yeah,
part of the was good for business.
exactly. Because at the end of the day, boxing is a real brutal sport. I don't talk about this a lot, but you know, we as fighters do uh in the long run in our careers, we do have damaging situations. I don't know if it could be your hands, uh it could be you getting hit upside your head your whole career. You can have problems with seeing, you can have problems with uh interacting with people and those sort of things, because I know before, like really before I actually retired from the fight game, I know I would be sitting down watching fights at times, and I would just go into I guess a daze where I could see myself fighting on Turl Gaddy and getting hit with a shot, and it
Mm.
just like
It's almost
pulverized me.
like a war flashback.
Yeah, it's like I'm sitting here saying to myself, like, damn, is this the reason why my head hurt? Because I can still remember that crooked left hook that Joker hit me with in the fourth round, or the second fight I can remember in the eighth round, him catching me with that great body shot. You know what I'm saying? Those are the type of things that we fighters intend to have that people just don't understand. The fans, all they want to see is us get in there and throw punches and go at it with each other. They want to see the big knockouts. But at the end of the day, when your career is over and you actually at the point where you're done and all you doing now, you may be laying back at home on a regular day doing nothing with your family, and them things just traumatize you. Your head hurt, or your knuckles hurt, or you feel that body shot, or whatever the case may be. So boxing is very brutal. I don't think the fans really understand, and I really don't think the fans give fighters enough credit when they go out there and they give it they all. Oh, this guy, he got knocked out. He faked and got knocked out. No, like for instance, I was just looking 2 weeks ago. I was just looking at a fight with Oscar and Bernard, when Bernard hit Oscar with that body shot, and nobody really actually, when the fight happened and you were there at the fight and Oscar went down from that body shot, everybody sitting there like, damn, what did Bernard catch Oscar with to make Oscar not get up? And we all know that Oscar is a Hall of Famer. We know Oscar was a great fighter, and Oscar was the golden boy, and he had a great run. But we sit there and wonder, how did Bernard do what he did to Oscar? Nobody really actually knew. They just knew Oscar went down. But if you actually take a look at the fight and you put the fight in slow motion, you never see Bernard catch Oscar with that liver shot, because the way the cameras were focused and the way they was in position. But if you actually take time after the fight, you get it on YouTube or your VCR back then, what it was, and you actually look at the fight in slow mo, you see how Bernard leaned in and threw that body shot and caught Oscar with Oscar hands up to his head, but Oscar not sitting when he was trying to get punched. He stood straight up and Bernard caught him with that liver shot and getting hit with a liver shot, that just that stops everything. That cuts everything off on you. I never been hit with one, but I could just imagine what happened when he got hit with that shot. Just like when Roy Jones hit Virgil Hill with that body shot. Man, that shuts everything down in your body. Like when Tank Davis hit Javante Davis hit Ryan Garcia with that body shot. You know what I'm saying? And people was like, damn, Tank really hit that hard. He probably do, but at the end of the day, you fail to realize boxers when they in the gym day after day, night after night, and the trainer is in the gym with the fighter day after day, night after night, and you sitting there actually practicing that shot 400 or 500 times a day in the gym, and then you actually 1 split second you get a chance to throw that shot and you throw it and you connect. Oh, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Especially if you catch a man cleanly and flush. Ain't I don't care who you are. You're not getting up from that shot.
And
You can
now
be the
I've
best.
heard that.
You can be the best fighter in the world. You ain't getting up from that shot.
I've
I've been
I've
hit. I've
heard
been
that the
hitting the
liver
liver.
shot
It's
was
true.
debilitating. But recently, Mike Tyson made a statement about the difference between a body shot and a head shot, and it was that with the head shot you don't see it coming, it puts you out. It was you didn't have a chance. But
I
with the
got
body
to.
shot, he said it was a choice. It's a choice, and that's something that we've also debated. Is it a choice or is that liver shot like? Is it in your mind telling you I got it? Because you mentioned the Toro Gaddy fight and the body shot you took in the second fight. I believe it was the eighth round.
Hmm.
Um, and you mentioned that body shot, and you kept going. It didn't stop you. So what I'm saying, what I'm asking is to what Mike Tyson said. What do you feel about that? Is it a choice? Is it in your mentality to keep going, or is it something that no matter what that is like how you mentioned De La Hoya not sitting down, being stretched up, and it just took everything out of him.
Well, when you get when you get hit with a shot like that, you want to continue. But it shuts everything down. You want so hard in your mind to be like, man, look, I got to keep going. But it does something to you. Just shut. It's like your car. Your car, you and your car, you and your car driving your car, and if your car is shut down, that joint just shut down and ain't going nowhere. You get hit with that body shot, man, or that liver shot, yeah, you might be able to move for a second, but after that second, that joint really sink in, it cuts your whole body down. Cause like when Arturo hit me with that left hook up top, man, it just took everything out of me. I tell everybody this, and I told my dad and my partner and my corner and them the same thing. When I got hit with that shot in that fourth round, when Gaddy hit me with that shot, and no, my fault in the 10th round. I swear to God, the only thing that saved me in that fight, and that was another thing I knew going into the Gaddy fight. Gaddy never conditioned himself very well. I made sure that I conditioned myself well and I trained very well, and it was nothing that was going to stop me from winning that fight. But he almost stopped me with that headshot. But my defense was so great when he hit me, man, I didn't know where I was at, but my defense worked it so well for me, and it just stepped back in like, yo, dog, move, roll, do something. And you seen Gaddy was trying to kill me, but at the time my defense told me to roll, so I kept rolling. But man, I don't know. Maybe I would have been able to continue if that was a 12 round fight. But I know for one day out of that time of my whole career, that was the hardest I ever been hit. And when he hit me, I didn't know where I was at. I tell everybody when he hit me, we was down Atlantic City. When he hit me, I thought I was on the boardwalk outside somewhere. That's how hard that joker hit me, man. I swear, man, that's how hard that joker hit me, man. And if you notice, look at the fight real well. The commissioner, which is Larry Harris,
Right.
he walked in the ring, he jumped in the ring, and when he jumped in the ring, I leaned up against him because I was still on Quest Street. I was still hurt from that shot. But, by everybody, by trainers and them grabbing me and cutting the gloves off, it gave me kind of time to shake myself right and get myself together. But that joker hit me with a great left hook, and if I wasn't in great shape, I probably would have been out.
Was Gaddy the hardest puncher you ever faced?
Um, Yeah, I just think that when I fought Chavez, by Chavez being an older fighter and being a ex champion, a world champion, and having as many fights as he had, um, he was still able to punch. I've always been told a puncher never loses his punch. He just slows down. And I think that's what it was in the fight with me and him. It was just that I was a lot, not too much younger, but I was younger than Chavez. He was older. He still could punch. And it was just that I guess I was younger and I still had a little bit of my wits and my mobility to know how to survive.
Right. Now, do you think going into the fight because he was an older fight, you kind of took that for granted and felt like
Yes, sir.
that
You
that,
hit
that it
on
was
those.
just
Yes, I did.
okay, okay,
Took it for
yeah,
granted. Uh, I showed him too much respect because I mean, people always ask me about that because there was I got a lot of slack on that fight. A lot of people were saying that I didn't step on the gas. Um, first of all, I when I fought Chavez, I think it was like my 45th fight, something like that. I'm in there with a legend. Um, I didn't I'm not gonna say I didn't think. I knew he couldn't knock me out unless he caught me with a shot that was just gonna be a shot that was gonna knock me out. But I never been knocked out, so even at that time, I felt as though that hey, he wasn't gonna knock me out. But I think I did kind of underestimate him by him being older. I thought he couldn't punch, but he still could punch. I gave him too much respect because he Julio Cesar Chavez. Hey man, how many people in the world now that I'm looking at it? How many people in the world would have really got a chance to fight an ex champion, a Hall of Famer, uh, a brutal guy who was known to be one of the ruthless Mexicans in the world when it came to boxing. So it was like it was like my pride and joy of me having something in my career that I could actually say that I did in my career besides fighting on Cheryl Gaddy and getting all the prestige I got from him. So yeah, I just gave him too much respect. Um, and that's just what it was in that fight. But if I really would have put my mind and my soul to it, I should have ran over him.
right, right. And it's funny that you mentioned people giving you the slack for not stepping on the gas in that fight. I remember watching that fight and having the same sentiment, like, like, come on, just go, like if you
Yeah,
just
right,
stepped on it, if you just pushed the issue just a little bit more, it would have been different.
right.
I just couldn't help but feel like that watching that fight.
Yeah,
Uh,
then I'm sitting there. I'm an older guy, even though he's older than me. I'm an older guy too. I'm sitting there saying to myself, like, if I step on the gas, do I really want this? Do I really want this older man to really like tear me apart? I mean, like what? So we fighters, we get to a point sometimes in our mind takes over us and it tells us to do certain things that we should do that we don't do. Like you said, I should have stepped on the gas. I didn't. I was there, but I didn't. Um, at the end of the day, after the fight was over with, the way I looked at it, at the end of the day, I was like, man, look, at the end of the day, my resume gonna say I fought one of the best in the world. I didn't get knocked out. I put up a good fight. I could have put up a better fight because at the end of the day, football players, basketball players, basketball team always say what we should have did, but we didn't do. That's where I was at. I should have did this, but I didn't. But at the end of the day, I walked out healthy. I walked out able to be able to talk to you guys today. Um, Made good money. So, that's what it was.
And you mentioned the money, and that fighters today are fighting for money. It's about the money now. Is it that you believe that a fighter today is more concerned about making money than creating his legacy, or is it that they feel like the money and because this prevents risk from being taken now? Is it that the money, as we were saying earlier, um, kind of has them not wanting to take certain risks because they feel
Yeah,
like it
that's that.
bring down their prestige as a fighter?
Yeah, that's definitely what it is nowadays. Guys just in it for the money. Um, Guys don't care what type of how they come out at the end of the day. They don't care about who talking about them or what. Some of them don't even care about their legacy. See, with me, I come up in a different era. It didn't matter to me. Um, Yeah, I love the prestige. I love the accolades. I love all those things. But the thing was, when I went in there to fight, I gave it my all, and I felt as though that I was a great fighter. So I think I'm getting my flowers now, as y'all call it.
Right.
And I'm just, happy to be part of what y'all doing. And I'm glad that I'm still around to see these guys do these things. But the fight game at times does get a black eye. Fighters don't really care about the prestige, don't care about uh, anything. All they want is a check.
You're muted. We
Yeah,
can't hear you.
Sorry, there we go. Yeah, before we
there
wrap
you
up,
go.
actually, quick question. Evan Tobler, which is Regis Prograis trainer, not his boxing trainer, but he's like his fitness coach. I don't know what his role is exactly, but he's been doing a lot of talking. And one of the knocks that he was having on Devin Haney and his team is that he's saying Devin Haney ain't never been through nothing. Like he's not from the streets and he was homeschooled. Like now I know historically, or mainly like a lot of fighters come from rough backgrounds or have rough upbringings, but how much like is that really important when two fighters step into that ring? Like if you're not from a particular neighborhood or you didn't go to a particular school or maybe you didn't have any street fights, maybe you wasn't the toughest guy, didn't come from the toughest background. Does that really play a part in what kind of fighter you gonna be?
No, not necessarily. Because I came. I mean, it's hard to say because I'm from North Philly and Philadelphia. I'm not from the baddest neighborhood in North Philly, but North Philly is bad.
Right.
Um, I turned out to be a great fighter. My dad trained me very well. I actually came from 4 blocks from Mildred Taylor. We both from the same high school, the same neighborhood, and the backgrounds that we came from were pretty bad, but that didn't make things no different. We
So
were
if a fighter
just go ahead.
so if your opponent if you knew your opponent was grew up in the suburbs or he didn't particularly come from the roughest background, would you overlook him or feel like, well, he's not that tough?
Man,
Can't be that
man, I
tough.
overlooked nobody. When I fought, the only thing about me about a fighter, the only thing I say about another fighter, and that's why I didn't mind fighting any top fighter or whoever it was in my weight class because I felt as though if a man is stepping in the ring with me, he has the same thing I had. He has two hands, he has two legs. He come from a house, he ate, he went to school, he talked
Right.
to girls, he did all that. We all did the same thing. The only thing might be a little different is that I grind a little harder. I worked a little harder. Um, I was in the trenches. I came from the toughest gyms in Philly. I trained with some of the best. I sparred some of the best. So that's all that matters. Just because no disrespect, you come from a household where it was hard that you didn't get food, you didn't eat 3 meals a day. That I mean, what does that matter? It don't really matter nothing about that. It's just who wants it the most, who's going to work the hardest, who's going to train the hardest. Because trust and believe, on back in the day, like on Saturdays and Sundays when guys might have been in the house watching football all day, or on Saturdays when, like for instance, my friends were playing basketball in the park on Saturdays at 10 o'clock in the morning in the park. Well, you know what I was doing? I was running around the park while they was playing basketball. You know what they was doing? They was laughing at me while I was doing my miles around the park. But at the end of the day, guess what? All those guys that was in the park playing ball, some of them went to become basketball players, become great NBA players. Like me and Aaron McKee, we great friends. Aaron spent his time playing basketball. While he was playing basketball, I was training. While those other guys was out on the corners smoking weed, drinking beer, whatever, they see me and my dad carrying my bag going to the gym on a Saturday afternoon while these guys talking about, yo, Mighty, we going to the club tonight. No, nigga, 9 o'clock that night, I was in the house sleep, getting ready to go run Sunday morning while they was
Right.
out partying all night. So it really doesn't matter what type of growing up you had, what type of family you came from. It's just about the dedication that you put in to boxing to become champion. It depends. You go the extra mile. Your guy might stop at 5 miles, but I'm gonna keep running that extra 3 miles. When you stop at 4 rounds, I'm doing another 4 rounds, or I'm hitting the mitts another 2 rounds, or I'm in the gym getting ready to go to work out with my conditioning coach while you at McDonald's eating a cheeseburger or something. So it
Right.
really doesn't matter. It's just who wants it the most. That's all.
No doubt. No
Yeah,
doubt.
that was what Morales said to Barrera, being from Tijuana, Morales and Barrera from Mexico City, that he wasn't thug enough. He wasn't street enough. But yeah,
All right, what
it was
street? What does the street compare to street and boxing? Where does that compare?
now
Who has
I
that
don't
level?
personally. I personally don't, because you have fighters who come from all type of upbringings.
Right, like for instance, no disrespect. I have a fighter that works 9 to 5. He works that 9 to 5 because he has to take care of his family. But
Right.
at the end of the day, you can't call me and tell me you're not coming to the gym because you're tired because you work. That's something that you gotta do. You gotta
Right.
fend for your family, but you want to come in the gym and be a pro fighter. So that's the road you gotta take, homie. You gotta go work that 9 to 5, and then after your 9 to 5, if you want to come in and be a world champion or even consider yourself a contender, you got to come in the gym and train. You can't tell me, oh, coach, I'm not coming in today because I had a hard day at work. But then you might as well not
Right.
even come back. I don't even want to see you no more. I'm cool. Don't even come
Hear
back
that.
to the gym.
Hear that.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
but before we wrap this up, let's give our final fight predictions. Regis Prograis, Devin Haney. Who you got? How do you win? Why?
I like Devin Haney because he's the better boxer. the skill boxer. And like I said, as long as his accuracy, his accuracy and his punch rate is good, uh, he give my man angles. It shouldn't be no contest. Like I said, the only thing that scares me is that Progress is a puncher, and he's definitely coming to shut Devin Haney in his pop up. So that means he's gonna be all on top of Devin Haney. Devin Haney definitely gonna have to learn. I mean, definitely have to box this guy. So I got Devin Haney winning. I ain't got him winning by no knockout. I got him winning by on points.
Okay. I'm gonna pick Devin Haney as well. I got Devin Haney winning by unanimous decision, and I predict at some point in this fight, for some reason, I feel that he may end up dropping Regis Prograis, not stopping him, but I feel like he gonna hit that canvas and
That's
win
all
on
that
that.
creatine weight you seen on that boy.
Nah, man, I've been studying some fight tape, man. I've been studying these fights. I think Devin may, and the fact that he got dropped by Zorilla, who's not a puncher, and he got a habit of bringing that rear foot to his lead foot. Like his footwork ain't the best, his balance ain't the best. And considering that he could be timed, he's a southpaw, and Devin Haney is good with that 1-2. I think he may walk into something as he's trying to chase Devin Haney around the ring. He bring that
Yep.
rear foot up to that front foot and get caught. Bop! I think he gonna get dropped. That's the same thing that happened against Zorilla. But I got Devin Haney by unanimous decision.
I got Devin Haney by unanimous decision. The conventional wisdom in this one, you just can't go against.
It looks like
And
Devin
one
Haney.
thing, and
Go
one
ahead.
thing else I want to bring to y'all attention too, guys. Um, I don't think that um the corners, the trainers, get enough accolades with their fighters because at the end of the day, even though a lot of people don't commend the trainers for it, and neither do the fighters, which I think the fighters should give the trainers more props than what they get because at the end of the day, fail to realize, man, we guys, when I say we, I'm saying that's myself because I'm not a fighter no more, I'm a trainer. We really put in the time in with these fighters to help these fighters and to give these fighters the tools to go out here and to perform at the best that they knowledge and the best that they can. I think that people should give the trainers more uh, knowledge on what's going on in the boxing world and what they fighters because at the end of the day, like I always say to my fighters, y'all guys wouldn't be able to do the things that y'all do if we wasn't teaching y'all. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Some of the fighters that come in the gym are definitely skilled. Some of them can fight, but they wouldn't be able to put that stuff to test if we wasn't there to help these guys. So I think that the fighters should give their trainers a lot of more, not if not a whole lot, some credit for the things that they do. Like for instance, Devin Haney. Devin Haney couldn't go out here and beat half of the guys he beat just on natural ability, on him being as good as he is, and then as good as he is, how come he is as good as he is? A because he woke up that way. His dad put some of that in him, gave him some of that, taught him some of that, learned
Right.
him some of that. So, I think fighters should give their trainers some credit, which they don't do.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. I mean, they're part. They're just as important to the sport of not just as important as the fighters are. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying? We
sir.
wouldn't
No
be
doubt.
entertained by the skills of some of these fighters if the trainers wasn't in there giving them the knowledge on how to do it and how to
You better
execute it.
know it.
So, nah, absolutely, absolutely,
Absolutely.
brother. But thank you for joining us, brother. Once again, you know
Anytime.
what I'm saying? Always a blessing, man. Have you on with us, man. A legend.
You,
You know what I'm
Thank you.
saying? Mighty Ivan Robinson, and hopefully we can get you back on here again. Um, are you
you
watching the
gotta
fight
Hey,
make
my
tomorrow?
boy, call
you
me.
gotta be a regular. You gotta be a regular with us, man. We gotta get you on a regular, man.
Yeah, we
You
got to
know what
get
I
you
I
up
mean?
here on the
appreciate
regular,
it,
man.
man.
This is fun right here, man. Hearing the information, the wealth of boxing knowledge and listening to what you know, and just the little anecdotes that you got, and from your own personal experience is just it's priceless. It's
I
priceless.
don't
And
mind
then
it sharing them.
you've been in there. You've been in there with Gaddy, rest in peace, a legend. You've been in there with the legend of legends. Hey, Julio Cesar Chavez. So it's just like and then I've seen the wars. I've seen the in there with Man Freddie when Man Freddie was streaking at the time. So I remember the fights. So it's just like I said,
Thanks.
it's a wealth of knowledge to have you here.
I
It's a
gotta give a
blessing
shout
for
out to
us.
my man. I gotta give a shout out to my man. I don't y'all probably know about it, but I gotta give a shout out to my man Jesse James Lehigh. I fought
Yes,
him
sir.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
nobody
Yes,
talk
sir.
Yep.
about Jesse. Jesse
Yep.
was one of the great fighters. Man, he fought a Zuma Nelson. He held his title for
Oh
years.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
hey man, I just try to perform and give y'all guys what y'all want to see when it was time to fight.
Thank you, brother. We definitely appreciate all all the things you've done for our entertainment, putting your life on the line, man. We always got to remember that fighters stepping there
Thank
every
you,
time they step in there, putting their life on the line for our entertainment, brother. So thank you for
Absolutely.
all the legendary fights and for your insight, brother. We appreciate you.
thank you,
All right,
appreciate it. All
all right,
right,
brother. Have a good one.
you too.
Jay Black.
Yes, sir. UFJ.
Let me just remind the people once again to jab that like button, uppercut that subscribe button, go ahead and lead hook that share button, throw a combination at the notification bell. You know what I'm saying? We are the Parry where we don't pull or duck no punches, and the parry is fundamental to boxing. You already know what it is. But before we get up out of here, man, I'm just gonna give a quick rundown of the undercard here for this fight. First of all, we got, of course, you know the main event is Devin Haney versus Regis Prograis. Devin Haney with 30 wins, 15 KOs, no losses, no draws. That don't sound right. No draws.
Yeah.
Pause. Regis Prograis, 29 wins, 24 KOs, with only one loss, and no, you know what? No,
he hasn't. He
that word.
hasn't. He hasn't had
He
a
has no
draw.
draws. Yeah,
Draws.
the
It's a draw. He
the
hasn't drew.
co-main event.
He hasn't
he
drew.
hasn't drew. He hasn't drew.
He
Yo,
hasn't drew.
yo, the co-main event. You got Liam Parrow, who's undefeated, man. Liam Parrow versus Montana Lowe, which I think should be a pretty decent fight. Liam Parrow is
Montana
23
Low.
wins,
He back at
14
it.
KOs, no losses. Montana Love, 18 wins, 9 KOs, with only one
One
loss and one
loss.
draw.
Yes, Montana
Um,
Low. I've been watching him.
Now
Yeah.
Montana Love is the truth, man. You just need to fight my man Richardson Hitchens. I think it is. He's been, been a lot of back and forth banter between them two, if I'm not
Hitchison is the
mistaken.
wild card. Hitchison
Yeah.
is the wild card.
Then you got on the undercard, you got a brand new fighter by the name of Andy Cruz. He has one win, which apparently he won by decision because he has no KOs, no losses, and no draws. You got Giovanni
He hasn't drew.
Drew, yeah, he hasn't Drew. You right? He keeps saying he hasn't Drew. Yo, Giovanni Strafan with 26 wins, 19 KOs with 5 losses, and he drew one time. Um, they're fighting for the IBF International and WBA Continental Latin American lightweight title, which is basically just a fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They just throw it
yes.
up there to make it
That's a
seem like
paper
something.
mache title. That's a paper
Yeah,
mache
yeah.
title.
No
Oh man.
disrespect to Andy Cruz, but you about to win that belt because I think my man with 5 losses is in there, so you can look good.
You
Um,
win you win those belts for beating up on pinatas. You know what I'm saying?
then you got you got some women's boxing. You got Ebony Bridges, who has 9 wins, 3 KOs, one loss, and she hasn't drew. Well, we could say she ain't got no draws. Me,
Oh
you
man.
got Mayo or Mio Yoshida, Apparently they from Japan, or no disrespect, I guess they from Japan or one of them countries or something like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
one of them countries. Either one of them countries
yeah,
like that. Just go
16
ahead.
wins. 16 wins. Actually, but they got no K. I guess they have no KOs because it's just blank. It's not a zero. It's just blank.
Just blank.
16 wins with 4 losses, and also no draws.
Everybody went the distance with her, huh?
So then we got another women's fight. You got Beatrice Ferreira. Three
Ferrera.
wins, one
Okay.
KO, no loss, and she also has no draws.
There we go.
Destiny Jones, 5 wins, 2 KOs, one loss with no draws. And then we got the first fight of
Destiny
the
Jones.
evening.
That's Nas' daughter boxing now. Destiny Jones.
I don't know. They ain't got a picture up here. And then you got
Yeah.
Amari. You got Amari Jones, who I believe is a DHP or a Devin Haney promotion fighter. He has
Okay.
9 wins, 8 KOs, no loss, and he drew no times. He had 0 drews, right?
Zero draws.
Against I'm Calisto Madera, who has 14 wins,
Yeah,
9
Madera.
KOs with 4 losses, and he hasn't drew or he hasn't drawn.
He
Now,
hasn't drawn.
Amari Jones should win this fight. I heard his name. I don't think I've seen his fight. I don't think I've seen him fight before, but I have heard the name. Apparently Kalisto, you in there to make my man Amari look good. But that's the undercard for tomorrow's fight. Oh, what's happening here? I can't seem to get back. Give me 1 second. One
There you go.
second.
Frozen. Frozen.
Yep.
Frozen.
Just keep it
Frozen.
moving. I'll be right back. Keep it moving. I'll be right back.
Welcome back to this is Che Black and that's the Parry. I'm your host. But you're talking the women's boxing. Women's boxing is finally getting into a place right now where it's we're able to see the real talent now. Because women boxing was very similar to women's MMA when we had um, Ronda Rousey tearing up shit. When she was out there doing her thing. Um, there wasn't we didn't know what the competition looked like. So we needed different faces to help sell. Christy Martin was a big draw, but she wasn't one of the best. She just was a big draw, and she helped promote the sport. Well, now you have a lot of great fighters out there where they don't need to have these. They don't need Christy Martins no more. They don't need the hyper bowls with these women fighters. They can actually see who is the cream of the crop. Whereas right now, we know it's Clarissa Shields. In the past, you've had fighters like Ann Wolf who wasn't able to demand her just due because of the politics in boxing, in females boxing. She was during the Layla Ali era, and unfortunately, Layla Ali was just as shamelessly um, using her name did the same way that they were promoting Martin. She was hype, and I'm not saying she couldn't fight and she wasn't good. She was better than good, but there was a lot of good females up and coming, and just a lot of tough competition that was around that she just refused to face. And not facing Ann Wolf was major. But female boxing has definitely come a long way from now, and it seems like Bomani has went a long way from here. I don't know where the brother if the brothers should be coming back. But boxing has been a great year for boxing. We've seen some great fights, and we've seen some answers be questioned. But I think we have a lot more answers just after the year of boxing. We have, whether we're talking about Tank stepping his game up, or I should say, stepping his level of competition up. Whether we're talking Errol Spence coming in the ring and being completely dominated by Terrence Crawford, and to the point where we're talking about he came in the ring with broken ribs, and you know, you got the Ronald McDonald clown guy talking about he broke his ribs, and he, that Spence was quoted as telling Crawford, "I'm about to give you the biggest whatever it is, pretty much saying it like I know I'm gonna probably look bad in this fight because I'm coming in to fight damage. That's one of those type of fights you don't go in to fight damage. That's one of those type of fights if you got a cracked rib, if your eyelash is dangled in front of your eye and it starts to scratch your eyeball, you don't go into a fight of that magnitude. It's not worth it. The risk reward factor is not good. You're talking about fights of that magnitude. I remember Pacquiao coming in the fights. Every time he looked back, his legs was cramped and he had blisters on his feet. How many times are you going to go in the fights with these same blisters on your feet? You know, and what is you doing that's making your legs cramp every time you have a close fight or lose? And there he goes.
Pardon.
Bomani UFG is back.
I'm
So
back in the building.
we can close the show down at the brother is back.
Yeah,
What's up,
pardon
UFG?
self. I'm back in the building. Little technical difficulties, but we back. But we about to wrap up. Um, thanks again to Ira Robinson, man, for jumping on with us, man, and reviewing this
Absolutely.
fight with us. But
Absolutely.
I just want to once again remind everybody to please jab that like button and you know the rest. But before we go, um, tomorrow is what we got going on. Please come back, join us.
We got to do the fight party.
Come back
It
and
ain't the
join us
Parry with a
tomorrow.
fight party. And we got the
The
brothers,
live
brothers.
fight party, Haney versus Prograis. You know what it is. I'm
When I,
hyped for this fight. I don't know about you,
when I,
Shay. I'm super hyped for this fight.
now I'm hyped for this fight too. And after watching the press conference, and then just going back reviewing the way, and after watching the way, and then reviewing some of the press conferences, and then watching Pro Days fights is just there's definitely excitement for this fight, and there's that whole what if factor. And we're talking about a live underdog. We all agreed that we favor Haney to win this fight, and most likely see him win it. But this is a live underdog right here, so it just makes for a great fight, or it
I mean,
makes
it's a
for
perfect way
it
to
makes
end the
for an
year
outcome.
off, man. It's been a great year of boxing, if I'm being honest. It's been a lot of great fights.
I
Some
was
fights
just
lived up
talking
to the
about
hype,
that.
some didn't. Some fights was competitive, some wasn't. Fighters we thought was going to either win or compete got dog walked
Weren't able to
for
compete.
or wasn't able to compete. But I do think this is going to be a competitive fight for a little bit. I don't know if it's going to be at the beginning or at the end, but I do feel like Devin Haney is the more skilled guy, and he should come out with the victory. Join us for our live fight party tomorrow. We should be going on around 10:30
I'm hearing the
tomorrow
brother
night.
Raheem Shabazz.
Yeah, with the brother Rakeem Shabazz from Wide to Dome
Live in the
TV.
Dome host. Yeah,
He should be on, and check out the interviews. I think he's dropping that in a few days. The interview we did on Watch the
it'll
Dome
be on the
TV. Shout out to
11th.
him.
It'll be
Yeah,
on the 11th. Knowledge.
yeah.
So
So peace to the God. You know what I'm saying? And once again, please join us tomorrow for the live fight party tomorrow. Haney versus Prograis. We should be going on around the time of the second the co-main event. Around the time the Liam Paro Montana Love fight come on, we should be me jumping on this live and doing what we do. And if anybody that knows what a live fight party with us, with us is like, man, it's full of laughs and full of good commentary, man, in regards to the fight. We will be going live on YouTube and our private Facebook group page, the Parry. So if you on Facebook, search the Parry up in the search, and the group should pop up and just answer little questions. And if you are who you say you are and you really know what you're talking about, we allow you in the group because we do from time to time do live streams that's strictly on Facebook just for our private group for people who support us and subscribe to our channel and show us all the love and exchange views and perspectives with in regards to the sport that we all love, the sport of boxing. So with that said, Jay Black, what you got left, man?
man, same fight, different round, man. It's time to close this one out, brother. It was a great show. It was great having Ivan Robinson. Look forward to building with him some more and getting his expert opinion on our platform. And stay tuned for tomorrow, man. Everything is tomorrow right now.
So stay tuned
know.
for tomorrow. I'm super hyped for this fight. Once again, jab that like button. Go ahead and uppercut that subscribe button. You know what I'm saying? Lead hook that share button. Drop the comment in the comment section. And throw a combination at the notification bell. You can follow us on social media platforms of Instagram at the Parry 101, Twitter at the Parry 101, TikTok at the Parry 101, Thread at the Parry 101. You name it. It's at the Parry 101. Why? Because we fundamental to boxing. Once again, I'm your host, Bomani UFG.
And I am the pragmatic Shea Black. I heard that. That was nice. Oh man.
And we are the Parry where we don't pull or duck no punches. And the Parry is fundamental to boxing. You know what it is. Till next time, we out.
Actually, now we're going to show you how to catch the jab. Actually, in boxing, it's called parrying.